Today we're talking about plumerias, and if you clicked on this video, you probably already know what they are, but you might not know how easy they are to grow up north. They go dormant during the winter time or during the dry season in the tropics, which makes it so easy for them to grow as container plants up here because they go dormant inside the house and then they wake up in the summer and they don't skip a beat. Whereas most of my tropical plants grow all winter long in the house and they really struggle in those low light conditions. This year, I'm having a little bit of a slowdown with my plumerias. We had a very, very wet early spring and it just wasn't super hot until recently. And I've noticed some of my plumeria are waking up very well, some of them are not. There's so many different types of plumeria, so if you have grown one for many years and you've never gotten blooms, you're probably just not growing a plumeria variety that can handle the cooler northern summers that you're trying to get it to adjust to. So I want to show you my favorite varieties. That's number one. The ones that never bloom, number two, and what to look out for if you want a plumeria that's gonna bloom consistently. By the way, isn't the backyard looking so good? I actually cleaned it up. I'm really proud of myself. I had all of my seedlings here for months and months and I finally cleaned it. So I'm not embarrassed to make this video because you're not looking at as much junk. So this is my California Sunset plumeria. Didn't get any flowers from it last year, but that's because it typically will flower on a second year of growth. So you see when it blooms, it takes up the whole stem and then the stem will usually branch. So this was an old bloom. You see the little circle over here. These are old leaf bases and now it's got a new bloom. So this branch will not bloom next year. So sometimes when a plumeria is having a lot of blooms in a single year, you just won't get blooms that following year because all of the branches are blooming at once. So you sometimes will get a spectacular show one year and then no show another year. But this year it looks like a spectacular show for the California Sunset. I have just one flower right now, but lots and lots of flower buds. So California Sunset has been a really reliable variety for me, but you notice it's really just starting to leaf out, even though it's almost July. So you want to make sure that you get plumeria varieties that leaf out and flower at the same time. So those are early season bloomers. So California Sunset's a really good one, a good example of that. You can see that I do have some plants around it to kind of help fill in the gaps because plumeria can look very bare at the start of a season. So I have my Hibiscus talaceus. Look at the leaves on that. This is a hard plant to overwinter inside the house because it drops all of its leaves anytime the conditions change. So we don't have that issue with plumeria. It drops its leaves because it's going dormant and it won't grow, and that's fine. Look at this hibiscus, by the way. I got this from Logi's, and it's supposed to have pink flowers, and the leaves are amazing. So that's an exciting one too. We'll see what happens. But this is about plumeria, so I want to show you a variety that never blooms. This one is Scott Pratt. It's same exact plumeria that Scott Pratt plumeria when I lived in South Carolina. It's a very deep red plumeria. And the leaves are kind of nicely colored too. Oh, hello, bumblebee. Hi. Look at how beautiful you are. So I noticed a lot of the red plumerias require too much heat. When I lived in South Carolina, it would bloom during the summertime. I brought it with me up to New York, same exact plant, literally in the same exact container, and it's never bloomed up here. I've had it for a decade, and it has never bloomed once. So that is an example of why you need to focus on the plumeria varieties that don't need as much sun, that don't need as much heat, as much humidity to produce good blooms. My Maya variegated plumeria looks beautiful. Look at the leaves. A very unusual variety with these nice speckle patterns. It produced a flower and it was too late in the season. It was October, so that is the old flower stem. It never bloomed. The flower was terminated when it went inside the house. There was nothing I could do. I really tried to keep it warm so that way it would bloom, and it didn't. So that has never bloomed either, just to let you know. And even when I lived in Florida, I took my Maya plumeria with me and it didn't bloom there. So just two out of the many plumerias that don't bloom. So most of these do bloom is what I'm trying to say, but those two do not. I want to show you Jenny. This is a Jungle Jack variety. Unfortunately, the birds have been having a really good time gnawing away at the stems. There's one in particular, one stem that's really highly damaged. Let me see if, oh yeah, see, look at that. That is bird damage. Anyway, though, this has been very slow to emerge this year. And I'm kind of sad about that because, I mean, look at how bare it still is. It is nearly July, but it will sprout. And because it is such an easy blooming variety, you'll notice that there are plenty of flower buds on it. It was actually blooming inside the house most of the winter as well. So some of these flower buds look a little funky because some of them have been blooming inside the house previously. So that is just a couple of the plumerias that are kind of so-so. I want to show you a Inca Gold plumeria, which is my earliest blooming plumeria. It always flowers before the leaves come out, but this year is really weird. So if you have some plumerias that just aren't waking up, don't be, too worried yet, because mine are not waking up, some of them. Look at this one. We have lots of flower buds starting up. This will definitely be a nice bloomer later on this year. Look, that's a flower bud, that's a flower bud, that's a flower bud. So all of these clusters of flowers will have hundreds of blooms on them. No leaves yet. It's almost July. Really perplexed, but lots of flower buds coming up. So it will do well. This one is Jackie. Last year, spectacular blooms from this variety. And you can see where the flowers were last year. This year, I still see some flower buds. So again, some varieties do much better than others. I have some plumerias that are not awake yet. So don't give up hope if yours is slow to emerge. It doesn't mean it's not going to bloom. But if you've never gotten blooms from your plumeria, you might not be doing anything wrong. It might just be a variety that needs more heat than what you can give it. I want to show you a new plant I got, by the way. Speaking of heat loving, this is a Washingtonia Filifera. Robusta is the most common variety, and that one's a little bit less cold tolerant. This is the only palm tree, Filifera, that is native to California. It has these really beautiful bluish green leaves, and I just think it's going to be such a nice addition in front of these dark cannas. I love playing with contrast. So I have my Canna Musafolia, which comes back every single year. I tuck it away very close to the house. I also have some ginger. All of this survived the winter. My butterfly ginger survived the winter. My Canna Musafolia rubra. Rubra refers to those beautiful reddish leaves. Survived the winter, all in the ground. I did plant my this is actually not Dr. Moy, this is Vanilla Ice ginger. Look how beautiful those leaves are. These overwinter in the house. I didn't want to risk it outside. So I love that contrast, and I think that this Washingtonia palm is going to be a really nice contrast. So I don't just do plumerias, but I do want to really focus mostly on plumerias. So I'm going to turn your attention away from one of my favorite areas right now and show you a couple of plumerias that I am rooting. So this is the beauty of plumerias. You can share with your friends. If you go online and you try and buy Plumeria cuttings, you may not have luck actually getting them to root. I have tried growing Plumeria cuttings online or from online sites, and I don't know, they just never really perform well. Even if they root, they just don't seem to grow very vigorously. But when I grow fresh cuttings from my own plants, easy peasy. I just stick them right in the ground and they come up beautifully. Right now I'm weeding. I can't look at these weeds any longer. And I had no problem getting this to beautifully root. So I have it in a clay container where, I'm keeping it regularly moist. It's not like it's drying out. You do want it to dry out when you first root it and give it lots of sunlight. So it's always best to take cuttings from your plumerias in like August, I would say, because they're not going to bloom at that point and you still have enough heat. Early August of last year is when I took this off of my other plant at my parents' house. This is a dwarf plumeria, so I wanted some at my house too. I have one in this container and I have an even bigger one next to my lemon tree. So this is a very, very sunny part of the yard, very hot part of the yard, and these plumeria cuttings are really rooting beautifully, really beautifully. Look at all these fresh leaves. You really don't want your plumeria cuttings to flower the first year that they're getting started. I don't know if this one's going to. It looks like it's not, so that's good. So you really would prefer to kind of have it nicely growing leaves the first year. Look how beautiful those leaves are. These are really, really spectacular. So that Plumeria variety is called Divine. That is from Jungle Jacks as well. So all my Plumerias get full sun. Some of them are at different stages right now. I have one that's blooming. I have lots with many flowers on the way. And then I have that one Plumeria, Inca Gold, that doesn't have any leaves yet. Not a single leaf. But I'm not worried about any of them. They all, except for my Maya and my Scott Pratt, bloom for me. Every single other Plumeria I have blooms for me because I specifically got varieties that are known to do really well in coastal California. But Alex, you live in New York. I know. But those varieties that are selected for coastal California don't need a lot of heat to generate blooms. So even though our summers are very hot and humid here, the reality is we just don't get enough heat for those tropical varieties. I hate to admit it, you know, but I'm telling you, after living in the South and seeing how Plumeria grow there, our summers are just not hot enough in New York for every Plumeria variety. While I have you, I'll just do a quick little wrap-around tour of what we've got going on. I have my first hibiscus flower of the season from this massive, I mean, look at how massive this plant is, that I keep bringing inside every year. This is why I bring my plants inside. You're never gonna get 7-8 foot tall. I don't know how big my door is. I'm 5'7" and I'm up to the door like here. So whatever, it's got to be like 6.5 feet. Anyway, that's how big my hibiscus is, and I just love the color. It's just so rewarding. But it's not my biggest hibiscus because now the Hibiscus talaceus, which I got as a tiny, tiny seedling, is bigger. So anyway, this is Hibiscus City over here with the Plumerias in between. We've got 4 hibiscus actually. This one was from Logis. It's called Midnight Tryst. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Here's the tag. I actually saved the tag. Are you guys proud of me? Midnight Tryst. And it's supposed to have beautiful flowers, but I don't know if I'll see flowers this year. This is, by the way, mealybug. I don't like those. No mealybugs. Get rid of them. So yeah, so things are coming along. The bananas are doing fantastic. My Siam Ruby had a good week. We hit 100 degrees 3 days in a row in my backyard this week. We got as hot as 105 in my backyard, and it's pretty accurate, my temperature reading. So I believe it. I believe we got up to 105. The official observation on the south shore of Long Island was 101, but it does tend to get a little bit warmer in my backyard. I have amazing cilantro. I've been having this in my salads every single day. I'm a cilantro king. I am obsessed with it. I have decided to let it go flower because I think the flowers are so pretty. My Staghorn Fern is perched above the hydrangeas. They're doing quite well. And everything's just living its best life. Oh, another new plant I got is my Heliconia. I saw it at Costco. You know, here I was just trying to get my Greek yogurt on the cheap side, and I ended up with a Heliconia. That's just what happens sometimes when you go to the grocery store. You come back with a plant. And it was a good deal. It's like $15. I also got a ginger. I'll show you that another time, but I really wanted this to be more Plumerias and less about the other plants. But it's just so hard not to talk about the other plants when it's, you know, summertime. I love this time of the year. Oh, I've gotten some questions about my Star Jasmine. Star Jasmine is a Zone 8 plant, but I'm growing this variety called Madison that was developed in Madison, Georgia, which is like, I don't know, it's allegedly a Zone 7, but I don't think anything in Georgia is a Zone 7 anymore. But anyway, it has done really well in my Zone 7. I just cover it up, and keep in mind, I covered up my Needle Palm and it died almost this year. This is my Needle Palm right now. Like, I lost half of it. But I did not lose any of my Star Jasmine. So that's really a testament to how cold tolerant that Madison Star Jasmine is. It stays green all year long, which is great. Yeah, this is my Needle Palm. The big trunk is gone. We lost 3 trunks. Look at those hollow trunks. I lost 3 of them. And I have 3 small trunks left, so whatever, at least it didn't die. Oh, and thank you so much for everybody who has found me on YouTube. I'm just so surprised. I'm so used to, you know, people finding me through my work on TV, and it's just such an honor that the garden community on YouTube has enjoyed my videos as well. I love, love, love the community on YouTube so much, and I really am honored for you all to join me here. This is just my little private diary that I like sharing with people, so I guess it's considered private still because we all share this really distinct passion for plants, and specifically growing things that just aren't supposed to grow here, because I'm a meteorologist and I just absolutely love learning about climates through plants, and I think that's what makes this experimentation so much fun. It's just nice to watch tropical plants. All right, now I mean it. Bye guys, I'll see you all soon. Thanks again for watching.